Hello everyone, I'm Laura Bowen, Executive Director for USTA Florida. Throughout the month of March, we're turning the spotlight on women's history. Today, our guest is a legend in Florida tennis. You may know Kathy Rinaldi as the National Women's Coach here at USTA, or maybe you remember her as a top 10 player on the WTA Tour. What you may not know is that Kathy was winning championships here in Florida as a junior, long before she hit the professional stage. She also won the Orange Bowl International Tennis Championships Girls 18s at the age of 14. Kathy, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, of course.
Kathy, I'd like to start by just asking, how did you get started in tennis and how did it lead you where you are today?
I just had a passion for tennis right from the start and just loved it. I played other sports as well, but as I, became a little bit older, I remember asking my mom if I could just play tennis because I really just loved tennis, and then played the USTA junior circuit. Started off playing locally and then statewide, the state closed, and then national events. And I was very fortunate that I had some success early on. Played my first professional tournament when I was 13. I played a pre-qualifier, played a qualifier. I think it was 11 matches to get into my first WTA event, which was here in Florida. And then I played the French Open when I was 14. I reached the quarterfinals, and my career kind of took off from there. I turned pro fairly young, so I've been in the game. And afterwards, I had my family, got married, had my son. I still continued to play a little bit, mostly doubles. And then from there, I started doing some other work, but always stayed involved in tennis. And I really enjoyed working with some players when they were in town after I was retired. I worked part-time and taught at a resort in South Florida. And that was a great experience for me because I learned how to work with all different ages there. And then I had the opportunity at the USTA, which was really just a perfect fit for me. I feel very fortunate that they took a chance on me and hired me. And it was almost like a calling for me to work with the kids. I really enjoyed the kids and worked with the young ones, and then became a national coach, which led to a lead national coach, which led to Fed Cup captain, which is now proudly named Billie Jean King Cup. And then I was named as head of women's tennis as well. So I think everything that I've been through, every step of my way, the ups and the downs, because nothing's perfect, right, has prepared me to maybe be in this position. So I feel very fortunate.
As the head of women's tennis here at USTA, what were some of the obstacles you had to overcome?
That's a tough question because I always think you always have obstacles. You always have the ups and downs. You have things that you go through. I mean, I lost both my parents, so that was a huge obstacle. Sorry, for me. And I think also being a female. When I was growing up, we didn't really have female coaches. So I think making that transition from player to coach was very natural for me, I want to say. But I also had so many great people surrounding me that I learned from, and I continue to learn from every day, men and women. I've been surrounded by so many great coaches that have impacted my life in such a positive way. But I think because there weren't as many female coaches, I think kind of trying to find a way to pave my way where you can earn the respect and the trust of players. And I think that I'm happy to say now that we have so many more female coaches and females in the business, which is wonderful. So I think that was a little bit of maybe an obstacle, but I think the players are very open to that and respect that. I think they saw someone that had been through a lot in their career and could relate. That was a little bit more maybe relatable at times, and easier to talk about certain things with a female coach than perhaps a male coach. it's just wonderful to see everybody now, females and males, working together for the good of the game and for the growth of the sport.
Kathy, what are some of the key takeaways that you've had as the captain of a team? What were some of the difficult moments you've had working with a team, and how has the team supported you during some of the challenges you faced?
I get so much more from all these ladies on the team, and those weeks are so incredibly special, and I learn from each and every one of them. And as I always say, they give me so much more than I could ever give them. It's truly the biggest honor to be the Billie Jean King Cup captain. And every week has been incredibly special. Win, loss, it doesn't matter. They're extremely special because you have every player just laying their heart out on the court, giving it their all. They're playing for their country, they're playing for their team, and it's just an incredible experience like no other, which is really unique to tennis because tennis is such an individual sport. So I think some of the difficulties, I get asked that question a lot. Picking a team is very difficult because, as you know, we're so fortunate to have so many great American players, and they're all willing and wanting to play, and it's very difficult to put that team together. And then again, at the ties, emotions run high. I mean, they're very emotional as you get closer to the competition, and things come up. And everybody has a different personality. Everybody likes to be coached differently. Everybody has different needs and individual needs, yet you need to unite and bring the team together. So I would say trying to find creative ways to keep the team together, the camaraderie, because without the chemistry and the camaraderie, you really don't have a team. And everybody's a superstar on the team. Everybody's a great champion. Everybody's a great player. But I'm very fortunate the girls really do get along. They have great chemistry. And it's just, managing those different areas. And we all have one goal in mind, and that's to bring the cup home for our country.
Well, I think we've seen that camaraderie and how it's carried forth. You see a lot of the American women have been supporting the other American women, even when they play each other, and it really is a nice culture, and I'm sure that is a credit largely to you.
Well, I'm not going to take the credit for that. I take the credit for very little because it's really, the credit goes to the kids and to the players, the ladies.
They've done a great job.
Young ladies, I mean, and the young ones as well. I mean, the culture is very strong. The camaraderie is very strong, and I give them the credit. I give their teams and their private coaches credit. Our entire country. Even with the pandemic, I mean, it was really incredible how we all came together, and none of us really, had to worry alone. That we were all together. We were all going to get through this together. That was the message. That was the messaging, and it is wonderful to see the girls. It's like they inspire one another, and they inspire the young and the next generations. It's like Venus and Serena. They inspired so many, and then you had, Sloane and Madison, and I could go down the list. And now you have Coco and some of the young ones, and Jessica Pegula and Jenny Brady. I mean, we could just keep going. Danielle Collins, and there's so many great stories and so many different paths. And I think that is something to be celebrated in the women's game in American tennis. And they're inspiring that next generation, whether it be the young ones or the collegiate players. It's just absolutely an honor to be such a small part and such a part of this exciting time.
You mentioned to me that you were surrounded by strong women who supported you when you started out on the WTA tour. Can you talk a little bit about who those women were and what those experiences were that really helped you?
On the WTA tour, I had so many great role models to look up to, and you could just watch them, their actions and their kind words in the WTA staff. And then here at the USTA with my USTA family, I have the same. I just really love the women that I work with, but also the men. I never want to, leave them out because I have so many great role models and so many people that have helped mentor me as well. So I've just been very blessed throughout my career throughout my school teachers. I mean, if you really look back on your life, there's just so many people, and I think relationships are the most important part because they really mold you who you are, and they continue to mold you in the future as well. So I really, relationships are really everything to me.
So let's talk about the role of a tennis mom. You're a tennis mom. What advice would you give to moms out there, and can they really do it all, as they say?
Well, there's a lot of moms out there doing it, aren't they? You've got to give them a lot of credit. There's a lot of working moms, whether it's tennis or whether it's, a nurse, whatever, school teacher, whatever it is. There's a lot of moms doing it. And I think, you just have to really give them so much credit. They're extremely strong. And I think when it comes to being a mom, there isn't anything that you can do with that child. And, my son he played tennis as a youngster, but he went into other sports and ended up playing baseball in college. But I think it was really great for him. And it was great for me to be able to share. I was still playing at the time when he was young, or going back and playing some of the invitational doubles, and he was there and I could share that with him. So going to the US Open or going to Wimbledon is almost a tradition for us, and being able to share that part of my life with him is super special. But I think it's also great for him to see a strong woman and to see women that can be a mom and that can work and that can impact lives. And you kind of want to leave that legacy with your children. And I think that's what moms strive to do, right? And, my family is my why.
You've done a lot of volunteer work for USTA Florida. In fact, the first time I met you was at a volunteer event a couple of years ago. What really motivates you to volunteer? What were some of your most memorable moments as a volunteer?
Well, every event is important when you're dealing with maybe kids with cancer, kids maybe less fortunate, our American veterans. I mean, it's important because people have paved the way for me. As you know, there's been so many wonderful champions in the past that have paved the way for all of us, and the sport of tennis has given me everything. I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful my parents introduced me at such a young age, and that I found my passion at such a young age. And so, I feel it's important for me to give back to the sport and to continue to grow our sport and to get the sport out there and lead the pack and maybe pay it forward to someone else. I just feel the sport has given me so much. I mean, I even met my husband through tennis. So, and the times and the bonds with my family and my parents especially, I just feel it's important to give back and to continue to grow the sport and to share my experiences that maybe could help someone else, inspire someone else.
Okay, so what's a typical day like in the life of Kathy Rinaldi?
A typical day, I get up early and I like to work out first thing in the morning, either before I come to work or if I'm on the road. I like to spend as much time on the courts with the coaches and with the players. Every day is different, obviously. We have, meetings and always trying to organize and think, be proactive, innovative for ways to help our players in American tennis and to grow the sport. But it's a pretty full day here each and every day. I'm very passionate about my job and about the people I work with, and I feel so blessed. I don't even think of it as a job. I really just, really enjoying every day that comes. I bike, walk, or run to work.
I've seen you.
Yeah.
Actually, I do see you when I'm coming to work.
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate to live close where I don't have to have a car.
Why is it important for us to open the door to other women in the tennis industry, and how do we do that?
That is a great question, and I will say that I've had plenty of women open the door for me. And like I said, I feel so blessed and fortunate to be in the position that I'm in and be in the sport as long as I have been. And I would love for other women to have that experience. And also, it's important for our sport. I think women are doing incredible jobs across the board in all all parts of the industry. And if we can inspire the next generation, our sport's going to be in great hands and in great shape.
Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure to be here, and we are so lucky to have you in Florida. Thank you very much for tuning in with us today for another great feature on women's history here in Florida tennis. For more great features throughout the month, visit USTAFlorida.com.